شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. This is study number 7 of the Ramadan Daily Quran Studies for the year 2021, presented by the Anjuman Ishat Islam Lahore, UK. And I am Zahid Aziz, the compiler of these studies, and I'm reading it out as well. And the topic of today's study is the Holy Prophet must deliver the message of Allah, and that is all that is required to deliver. That is all that is required to do. And the first verse of the Holy Quran, which I'll read out in Arabic, is this: A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Ya ayyuhar rasulu balligh ma unzila ilayka min rabbik wa in lam taf'al fama ballaghta risalatah wallahu ya'simuka minan nas. O messenger, deliver what has been revealed to you from your Lord, and if you do not, then you have not delivered his message, and Allah will protect you from people. Chapter 5, verse 67. And first of all, I may refer to this promise here given to the Holy Prophet that Allah will protect you from people. And this promises that the Holy Prophet will remain under divine protection in view of the many dangers which threatened him from all directions, from all sorts of people and tribes, and from the very many plots against his life which he had to face. And Allah will protect him. Why? What was the reason? Because he was delivering what had been revealed to him from God. But this Allah protecting the Holy Prophet from people, it also refers to the Holy Prophet's spiritual protection. God protects prophets by creating them pure from every sin in their very nature. He protects them by granting them help, by keeping them firm in the tests and trials that they face, and in sending down tranquility upon them and protecting their hearts from inclining towards evil. And there is another way of looking at these words: Allah will protect you from people, which is, it can also be taken to mean that out of all people, you are the one that Allah has protected and spiritually and made innocent and sinless. Out of all people, you are the one. And the Holy Prophet again is told to declare, just as in the first verse which I read, right at the beginning it said, O messenger, deliver what has been revealed to you from your Lord, and if you don't, then you haven't delivered the message. And this verse says, the Holy Prophet is instructed to tell people, I do not control evil nor good for you. None can protect me against Allah, nor can I find any refuge besides him. My duty is nothing but to deliver the commands of Allah and his messages. Deliver them, of course, to you. Chapter 72, verses 21 to 23. Now, this chapter 72, in which these verses occur, was revealed to the Holy Prophet just after his return from the city or the town, you may say, of Taif. And this was about 2 years before his hijrah from Makkah to Medina. So it was something like more than 10 years after he had been appointed as a prophet of God, and about 2 years before a hijrah. Now, since the opposition to his preaching of Islam had reached his most intense height in Makkah, the Holy Prophet thought of taking his message to the town of Taif. When he went there, all he faced was taunts and ridicule from the people. He stayed there for about 10 days, and when he was returning back to Makkah from there, having completely failed, on his way out, as he was leaving, the local people pelted him with stones till he started bleeding. So the Holy Prophet, and his message had now been rejected everywhere at the time that this chapter 72 was revealed. But even, you see, in these circumstances of utter and complete failure, his revelation tells him to declare to people that as a person he has no control. I do not control evil nor good for you. In other words, he can't bring on them any harm for rejecting him, and he can't bring them any benefit if they choose to accept and follow him. But it goes on to say, the verse goes on to say, none can protect me against Allah, nor can I find any refuge besides him. Which means if he continues delivering his message, God will be his protector, even if no one else is. But if he stops delivering his message because of rejection and people's fear, then those people will not be able to save him from God, for whose sake he stopped delivering God's message. They cannot save him. He says, he tells them, nor can I find any refuge besides him. But the next two verses after this verse, which I will quote, they give him the assurance of his opponent's failure. And they say, till when they see what they are promised, they will then know who is weaker in helper and smaller in numbers. Say to them, I do not know whether what you are promised is near, or if my Lord will appoint for it a distant time in the future. So these are verses 24 and 25 in chapter 72. And this clear prophecy could not have come from the Holy Prophet's own mind because of the circumstances at the time when chapter 72 was revealed. And this verse says that the day will come, whether it is near or far, when those who are now weaker in helpers and smaller in numbers, that they will achieve triumph. And then, as the verse says, then you will know who is weaker in helpers and smaller in numbers. And repeatedly, the Holy Quran says that the prophet's duty is only the delivery of the message. And I'll read here 4 verses of the Holy Quran in translation. First, if they submit to God, then they indeed follow the right way. But if they turn back, your duty is only to deliver the message. Chapter 3, verse 20. And again, and obey Allah and obey the messenger and be cautious. In other words, be cautious of fulfilling your duty. But if you turn back, if you don't do this, in other words, if you turn back, then know that the duty of our messenger is only to deliver the message clearly. So if you don't follow him, then you should know that his duty was only delivering the message. This is chapter 5, verse 92. Then, briefly, in another verse, it raises the question, but have the messengers any duty except to deliver the message clearly? Chapter 16, verse 35. And finally, I'll read this verse. It tells people, obey Allah and obey the messenger. But if you turn away, he is responsible for the duty imposed on him. And you are responsible for the duty imposed on you. And if you obey him, you will be doing the right thing. And the duty of the messenger is only to deliver the message clearly. Chapter 24, verse 54. Now, these words in the middle of this verse, if you turn away, he is responsible for the duty imposed on him, and you are responsible for the duty imposed on you. In Arabic, these are فَإِنَّمَا عَلَيْهِ مَا حُمِّلَ وَعَلَيْكُمْ مَا حُمِّلْتُمْ. So you notice the symmetry in those words. عَلَيْهِ مَا حُمِّلَ. On him is the duty imposed, placed on him. Alayhi ma humila. He is responsible for that. Wa alaykum, just as that said alayhi, this is wa alaykum, and your responsibility. Wa alaykum ma humiltum. Your responsibility. You are responsible for the duty which is imposed on you. And the Holy Prophet ﷺ's foremost duty, his main duty, was to deliver the message that was revealed to him from God. That delivery was by word and speech and not by force. If his message was rejected, his duty ended at that point. His responsibility, for which he was accountable before God, was the delivery of the message and not the results of the delivery. He was neither commanded anywhere nor permitted to somehow make sure that his message was accepted. And this is because acceptance is a voluntary act. It is a voluntary act by those who receive the message. So no one can ensure in any way, make sure that people accept the message, but they can only convey it. Therefore, the use of force to make people accept the Holy Prophet's message or the message of Islam is completely contrary to the instructions given in these verses that the Prophet's duty is only to deliver the message. And having delivered the message, he is required to show patience. And this is what the Holy Quran says about it, addressing the Holy Prophet. So have patience, O Prophet, have patience as men of resolution, the messengers, all messengers are called here people of resolution, firmly resolved. As men of resolution, the messengers had patience. And do not seek to hasten on for them or to quicken or bring about more quickly. Do not seek to hasten on for them their end, their doom. On the day when they see what they are promised, it will seem as if they had only remained for an hour of the day. It will be as if it was only an hour between when they were warned and the coming of about the consequences they will face and the actual coming of those consequences. It will appear to be only an hour, even though it will be a long time. And then the verse goes on to say, Your duty is to deliver. And these final words correspond to just one word in the Arabic text of the Holy Quran in this verse, balagh, balagh. And that is translated as your duty is only to deliver. This is chapter 46, verse 35. And this is the end of study 7. Barakallahu lana wa lakum fil Quranil Azim wa nafa'na wa iyyakum bil ayati wa zikril hakim. Innahu ta'ala jawadun karimun malikum ar-rahmanur rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.